It's gonna blow!
Where's the earth-shattering kaboom?
There's always an earth-shattering kaboom.
That's perfect.
With my plutonium-230X explosive space modulator. Oh!
That's a perfect start. Come on. Don't cut it. Leave it. That was spot
Good
on.
evening, Earth creatures. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bobby Ray. This is Brennan McGuire. Brad Janssen. They are the Tumbleweed Preachers. We're so glad that they're here. This is live in the living room. We haven't done a live in the living room since the last time we did a live in the living room. And it was live.
It's live in the living room.
Where did it take place?
We're so excited because these guys here, they are premier songwriters, singer-songwriters, and performers. Is that the right word, Brennan? Premier?
Premiere, yeah. We're premiering today live in the living room.
Premiering live in the living room. I meant to say pristine. Is that the right
Sure.
word? Pristine?
I don't know.
Help me out here. Don't be a freaking bone here.
We'll go with premiere. That sounds
Premiere.
fancy.
Huh?
Premium?
No, not
Premium.
No. Really, Brad?
No, that was me.
Brennan?
I shut my alarm off too.
Well, Brennan, you just took the place of Amos Rue because Amos Rue stopped in the middle of the interview and says, "I go to the bathroom."
That sounds like an Amos move.
That's awesome.
But this is really cool. I've actually really looked forward for you guys to come out. And I know, Brad, you've been on Live in the Living Room before, but I think that probably was that one of the ones that we lost?
No, I think it's on YouTube.
Is it on YouTube? See, because we didn't archive them, and then Facebook deleted them. But we've been wanting Brennan to come because
We had one lined up at one point,
We
and then
did.
something happened with sickness or something.
yeah, you screwed it all up.
Yeah.
Sort of was.
My bad.
But we are so glad you guys are here. So the way I do this is I ask you a bunch of questions, and then we have you play a couple songs. But I think we're going to do it different this time, okay? Because I want to hear you guys play. You know, that's the main thing. But Brennan, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you come from, where you're going, and how you get there.
I don't know. No, I'm from upstate New York originally. I spent a little time in California with my ex-wife doing the music thing out there. Then we moved back to upstate New York, got married, had a kid, decided that I couldn't really do much with music in little podunk upstate New York, and I needed to get back to a music center. So 7 years ago, we moved down here outside of Nashville in a little place called Erin, Tennessee.
So you've been here for 7 years.
Doesn't seem like it.
And you live the same place now that you lived when you moved down here?
Yep.
Okay. That's Dixon, isn't it? Or is it?
Further out. Yeah. Mountain no man's land out there in the Bermuda Triangle. But I like it.
No wonder you play Loretta Lynn's Ranch because it's probably close to you.
Oh, it's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes door to door. So that's my hometown show for sure.
Because when we drive out, so like if we're going to, I don't know, going to Dixon or wherever, we always go past, and I'm thinking, I think Brennan lives way out here, and I know you live way out there.
Out in Charlotte, yeah. A half hour down the road from Brennan.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little longer.
Sometimes
You take
a
the
little
dirt
longer.
road.
Depends on how recording or whatever we're doing that.
How late the night was.
Sometimes it takes me damn near an hour.
So, fun fact. Can I say fun fact? And I don't know if you know this or not, okay? But when Adrian and I first came down, it was back in March, I believe you and your wife were playing at the Commodore. And I think that was the first time that I heard you guys.
Really?
And I was like, wow. That was the same night that I met, was it Lamb? I met Ridge? Ridge and, it was Ridge and Mike Nortrim. And then we ended up moving down here, and then I saw you play again at the Commodore with your wife, and you guys were really, really good. And yeah. And then Brad, we love Brad. Tell us a little bit about you, Brad.
My name's Brad Janssen. I come from a little small town in central Wisconsin, a little farm community called Vesper. Lived there most of my life, except for I was in the Army for a few years. And then, what was it, 7 years ago, we came down here on vacation with some friends, and I joked to my wife that she might not get me back out of Nashville. On our way home, she says, I really like it here. She said, I'm really sick of Wisconsin winters. You want to move to Nashville? Well, yes, I do. So we put our house up for sale, and 7 months later, we're living in Charlotte, Tennessee. That's where we're at now.
That's crazy. So you've been here 7 years? And
6 years.
You've been here 6, you've been 7. Adrian and I will be here 4 years in July. 4 years.
It goes quick.
Went by so fast.
It does, yeah.
Made so many good friends, so many good connections.
I remember my first Uber passenger asked me how long I'd lived here. I'm like, about a week now.
And that's another thing that Brad and I have in common besides being songwriters is Brad and I drive Uber for a living.
And it's lots of fun.
Sign up today.
I just got my Uber sticker in the mail after 5 years of driving.
I've never
I
put
think
my
they
Uber
found
sticker in
me.
the car.
I don't think I'm going to put it on the car.
I
That
do
car's
have
too
my
nice.
I have my little light up thing that sticks. To the
I have a light up. Does it say Uber?
Mhm.
Where'd you get your Uber light?
Amazon. I don't have one that they never 11,000 rides. They never sent me the fancy little freaking one that they sent out. I don't know how to get one of them. But
Yeah.
maybe
You have
20,000.
11,000 rides?
Yeah.
How long have you been driving?
6 years, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
We're
got
about the same.
11,000 on
That's where
Uber
I'm
and
at.
another 2,500 on Lyft.
Yeah. Well, thank you for tuning into Uber Rides. Bob and Brad.
Let's get our traffic
We can
report
start
for
a
today.
we can start a whole nother live stream on that. That'll be a different night.
That's that would be a podcast that's not for children.
That's for sure.
Talking traffic in Nashville.
Today, crash.
Tomorrow,
Crash.
And Monday, crash. And construction.
And construction.
Crash.
And homeless people. All right, anyway. So, what made you start writing songs?
Had to get it out. There was just too much in there. I actually started in music.
Sort of like a
theater.
laxative.
Yeah, it works really well that way. It gets all the crap out. But I didn't really think that I was going to be much of a songwriter when I first started off. I honestly only picked up guitar initially to be able to accompany myself. I didn't want to have to carry around a keyboard and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I was finally getting into rock and roll. I really, at that time, 13, 14, I had gotten really big into, like Metallica and Pink Floyd and Jimi Hendrix. I was just getting the first taste of all the real rockin' stuff. So I kind of started putting two and two together. I have almost a photographic memory for pretty much every song I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So my brain just kind of, I'm playing the verse of this, and then I'm playing the chorus. Oh, well, that's chorus to a different song, but those two kind of things worked well together. I wonder if there's something there. So that to me is how the whole writing process works. I very rarely will start with a lyric. Most of the time, I'm a kind of strum and hum, and then something will kind of pick up from there.
And I was going to ask you about that, but we'll talk about that later. Like your process of writing songs. Well, how did you start writing music?
I first started when I first started playing in bands in high school. We weren't good enough to even learn a cover yet, so we kind of write our own stuff. So I wrote some horrible songs back then, and then through the years, I've wrote here and there. Played a lot of covers mainly because up in central Wisconsin, there's not a whole lot of call for original music. But every now and then, I would have a band that we would do originals in and throw them in with our covers. But then when I got to Nashville and found out how much fun writers' rooms and stuff could be, I put more effort into it. So I write a lot more now than I ever did through previous years.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember your first song you ever wrote?
Yes, I do.
Can you play it?
I would never play it in public anywhere, ever.
This is Brennan McGuire right now playing
Coming to
his
you.
first original song. You don't want to play
I
it?
think there was about 3 words in it. To tell you where I was at, it was called "Come to My Backyard, We'll All Get High."
I think it's great. Let's hear it.
What's wrong with that?
That thing you just did. That was pretty much all the lyrics to
All
it.
right.
Just one repeating
Come
chorus.
in my backyard.
It's
We
all
all get
good.
high.
That's
You know,
it.
You could probably.
Straight to the point.
You need to do something with that. It'd probably go over good. now.
Willie Nelson's calling, man.
Right.
That'll be my first cut.
What about you,
On
Brad?
Willie's Picnic.
Your first song?
I don't remember my very first. I remember the first one. I remember all the lyrics to. I was 18 and in the Army. Actually, I think I played that on for you last time we were doing this. I played that one.
Oh, well then by all means don't play it again.
No repeats. No repeats.
So, who were your influences, Brad? Now, he mentioned Pink Floyd, and you said Metallica, all those bands.
I've listened to everything. My influence comes from everywhere. I grew up listening to the old classic country, Waylon Jennings, the stuff we play a lot, Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, stuff like that. My grandma was a big music fan. Her brothers were all musicians back in the 30s and 40s. She couldn't carry a tune in the bucket, but she loved music, and she would come home, a little shine under her belt, and bust out the albums and start singing along, and I'd start singing with her. Then the 80s came along, and I started growing my hair out.
Did you skip the disco era?
I did.
Did you do that
I did not do
deliberately?
any disco. I was only 7 years-ish old, 8 years-ish old, so fortunately I didn't really listen to disco at all.
How old are you?
52.
I'm
Old
older.
enough I gotta sit and think about it for a
I
second.
guess I am older than you. How old are you, Brennan?
I'm 38.
Are you really?
Yep.
Oh boy, I am old. I remember the disco era and the CB radio.
Back with your leisure suit.
That's right.
Right.
It was called pleather.
High heel platform shoes.
No, I didn't have those. So, but your big influence, I mean, Johnny Cash.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean,
That started at a very young age. My grandfather actually used to play pretty much every night after dinner, and he had the songs of Johnny Cash, and he had an old little green book that was Irish traditional music. And every night after dinner, one of those two got brought out, and usually it started on the Irish, prettier, ballady stuff, and then it would get into, some of the rougher Pulse from Prison cuts from Johnny Cash by the end
boy
of the
named
night.
Sue.
Exactly.
So, I'm a diehard Johnny Cash fan, and that's why I started playing guitar in the first place. What's your favorite Johnny Cash song?
Gosh, that's a hard one.
That is so tough.
Probably the one that hits the most for me, because I remember my grandfather singing it the most, is The Long Black Veil.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a old Lefty Frizzell tune, but I'm pretty sure from the research I've seen on it, it's an actual old Scottish melody.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've always,
And then Johnny Cash recorded it Folsom, and it is what it is today, for sure.
One of the great versions of that, though, is actually from the Johnny Cash show. And who's the real skinny blonde? I can't think of her. Not Judy Collins. Both sides now. But there's a great duet version that he did on the show.
I know who you're talking about. On the Johnny Cash show.
Yeah.
That was
And we all know her. I'm totally blanking. Joni Mitchell.
Joni Mitchell.
There we go.
Yeah. I have the best of the Johnny Cash show.
Likewise.
So yeah. Sorry you're not a part of this, Brad.
You don't know anything about Johnny Cash.
No, I've never. Who's this? Who you guys talking about?
Johnny, huh?
Do you have a favorite Johnny Cash song?
Hurt.
Really?
It's not his, but man, it's. You want to talk about feeling in a song? There ain't nobody has ever done it more so than that.
You're absolutely right. And you know what? I used to really like that song until I went to the Johnny Cash Museum. And I don't know,
Yeah. You hear a lot.
through the whole
Yeah,
museum.
yeah.
I hurt myself today. Well, you're hurting me. by
Right, yeah,
playing
that's
this
a little too
Can we
much.
get a whole playlist of Johnny Cash songs, maybe?
Yeah, I still remember the first time I seen the video for that, man.
Oh,
It brought me
great.
tears flat all.
For sure.
You know,
For sure.
it's a powerful thing when the actual songwriter comes out and goes, "Yeah, no, that's not my song anymore.
Yeah.
That song belongs
To
to
Johnny
Cash."
Cash. Yeah. Which was Trent Reznor.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you a quick Trent Reznor story. Okay, I lived in, Ohio. Well, Trent Reznor's from Mercer,
Yep.
Pennsylvania, and we cleaned because I used to work for Stanley Steamer. We cleaned Trent Reznor's grandpa's house. I had no idea who Trent Reznor was. The guy that I was worried, this is before I knew about Hurt and everything. The guy who I was working with was foaming at the mouth because it was Trent Reznor's grandfather, right? So we're getting ready to leave, and Trent Reznor's grandpa gives us a picture. Has a picture of Trent Reznor's grandpa with Trent Reznor, and it says, to Bob and Tom from Trent Reznor's grandpa.
He knew where his bread was buttered.
I don't have that anymore, but
That's a good story.
yeah, and then we ended up cleaning Trent Reznor's sister's house, and I said, when you see Trent, tell him thank you for giving that song to John.
Right.
It's so true. All right, so I want to hear you both play a song. Okay. Now these, like I said, these guys are the Tumbleweed Preachers. I think that is a cool name. And they play all over the place. They mostly play together up in Wisconsin, right?
We go up there a couple times a year.
And you guys play down at the ranch.
The ranch.
My son couldn't pronounce it for here, so it was Roletta. It was Roletta Lynn's Ranch.
Roletta Lynn's Ranch. And do you play around here at all?
Yeah, we'll play wherever.
Yeah, we play wherever. He plays downtown.
Well, I know that.
3 days a week, but yeah, we'll play a few songwriters rounds here.
We've got one coming up. We're out at Turkey Creek Marina.
Turkey Creek, yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. We're doing a dueling duos thing, so there'll be 2 sets of duos out there going, flipping songs back and
So we'll
forth.
be on each side of the dock, kind of.
What's it called?
It's called Dueling Duos.
No, what's the place called?
Turkey Creek Marina.
Write that down. Turkey Creek Marina. Do they do bands?
Yes,
They
they
do.
do.
They do.
Turkey
absolutely.
Creek Marina.
They
You guys
do right
are
out on the
good out
beach too. Yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely like that spot up there.
All right, so this is the Tumbleweed Preachers.
We won't play.
Good question. You want to do it done?
Yeah. What capo are we?
Let's do it on open. Or I mean on
Standard.
Standard.
Wait, whose song is it?
This is a Tumbleweed Preacher song. This is one me and Brennan here wrote together. This one's called Outdone. We're in the process of recording it now, but we're both procrastinators, so it's hard to say when it's going to get done.
It's like the plumber's house always has leaky pipes. I'm a recording engineer, so you can blame me.
Go ahead and start it off, Brennan.
You hit it. You hit the top. You go first.
I think you can first on this one.
The line.
For 18 years. I got started with it. I think I got started.
Yeah, you're starting the wrong song. That's what it is.
And that was
Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it.
Brennan with Tumbleweed Preachers. Okay.
Take 2.
I got you. For 18 years now, I've been running straight ahead. More than one time that I damn near wound up dead. See, my whole life I've been digging my own grave. More the devil asks for, well, it seems the more I gave. Life in shadows, just a bad man on the run. Do my deals in darkness, and I'm gone before the sun. Just an outlaw man, never made no plans. Take life just the way it comes. Johnny told me, son, don't take your guns to town. Other outlaws will be gunning for your crown. Someday you will be outdone when your day of judgment comes.
Every scar I bear is trying to survive. Every war I fought, I've made it out alive. Still the hellhounds just keep biting at my heels. Man downstairs is calling, he's collecting all his deals. Life in shadows, just a bad man on the run. Do my deals in darkness, and I'm gone before the sun. Just an outlaw
Never make no plans. Take life just the way it comes. Johnny told me, son, don't take your guns to town. Other outlaws will be gunning for your crown. Someday you will be outdone. Your day of judgment comes. Oh, Clint Eastwood didn't meet me at high noon in the movies or some Hollywood cartoon. Bullet hit me like a train and threw me back. Never knew in the moonlight blood looks black. Life in shadows just as bad closes in. As my eyes shut, I can see the devil grin. Just an outlaw man, never made no plans. Take life just the way it comes. Johnny told me, son, don't take your guns to town. Other outlaws will be gunning for your crown. Someday you will be outdone. When your day of judgment comes, you're dying by the gun. Yeah, you're dying by the gun. You'll be dying by the gun. Yeah, you're dying by the gun.
That's great. I love that song. That's such a good song. So, Gary Cooper, High Noon.
right.
Not Clint Eastwood.
It was more so the gunfight.
Yeah, I know.
Than the movie. But.
Well, you know that in the movie Die Hard, you remember Hans Gruber said that Gary Cooper.
Yeah.
No, he said John Wayne.
John Wayne,
Yep.
He goes, it was Gary Cooper, and then I can't repeat whatever else he said. It's a children's show. I love that song. What inspired you to write that? Did you guys write it together, or?
Yeah.
Marty Robbins inspired us.
Yeah, that's basically inspired the whole album that we've got coming out right now. Basically inspired us to kind of start the official duo. We've played together on and off for what, 3-4 years now.
Yeah, something like that.
But we started writing. What was the first one we did there?
The very first one we did was one on my album there, All Fallen Down.
All Fallen Down, yep. And then we got together, and I think this was the second one.
I believe so.
Don't you have one called Pale Rider or something like
Yep,
that?
that one's out. That's a single.
Yeah, that
out
one's
now.
out. The single. Yeah, you can find that one on streaming platforms everywhere. Pale Rider, Tumblewood Preachers.
And then you released that, the Moon one.
Four Blood Moons, yeah, I did that, a solo one 2 years ago, and then last year I did another one called Die in My Sleep. But we started doing that, and we were like, hey, let's...
That was 2 years ago?
Fun.
It happens quick. But we got picking on those, and we're like, I really dig the whole outlaw cowboy story, the gunfighter ballad thing for Marty Robbins, and we're like, well, why don't we just do a whole album? Let's kind of make it a plan and keep it thematic. So we've got, about 12 of them now?
Yeah, we've got the whole album pretty much, I guess, going, I would think.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
We'll see if we may have more songs by the time we get all these done recording.
Maybe it'll be a double MVP.
Bonus tracks.
Bonus tracks.
That's great. That's a great song. I told Brad this the other night. I said that line, and Johnny said, "Don't take your guns to town." That's
I love that.
That's primo. That's primo. So what's next for you guys?
Oh, we both got we got a bunch of stuff coming up this year together. We got a bunch of stuff coming up alone. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we're booked pretty much from now until October at this point, which is it's a good problem to have.
That's a great problem.
Yeah, me and him are making a 2-week run up through Wisconsin in June. We'll be up in northern Wisconsin 1 week, and then down into central Wisconsin where I'm from for a week.
We got a couple single runs here and there where we're doing one-offs. We were at Turkey Creek several times this summer. I know
At VFW and Dixon, we're there every month. Every fourth Thursday.
Fourth Thursday of the month, we're there. You'll be joining me out, I'm sure, at Loretta Lynn's. We play out a bit there in Kingston Springs. We do the farmers market and art in the park and all that good stuff.
We got an art show coming up in Dixon
tomorrow.
These guys are all over the place.
And then, actually, I've been doing a residency on Block Island up in Rhode Island for the month of August and September. Brad's going to come join me at the end of that.
Rhode Island?
Yep. And then we're going to hopefully hit, I've still got to get the planning stages of this, but we're hopefully going to hit a couple spots. Massachusetts, Vermont, New York, maybe Connecticut, and then zip back down through. Maybe whoever wants us on the way back through.
we can get to let us in the door and play a few songs. And then, last weekend in July, I'll be going up and playing the state fair in Wisconsin there for 2 or 3 days. I think we're up there with my buddy Norm McDonald, who you've done writing with too.
Yep, I've got to write with him either next week or the week after.
So let's talk about songwriting. Now you mentioned that you hum and you play the chords first. You're not a lyric guy and then the music.
No. I've done, I think, one song that way, and it took me a year to write the song.
Really?
Whereas if I do the hum and strum, I could get one in 20 minutes. It's a much faster process for me. When I start with the lyric, I'm nitpicky about the way the chord structure, it doesn't quite fit that word right. Whereas when I do the hum and strum, I can be like, that word doesn't fit over this guitar part. I'll just put a different word in there.
Hum and strum. How about you, Brad? How do you write?
It varies. I tend to generally start out with works good with us because I'll usually come up with one line. I've got a list that long of one-line stuff that I think can turn into a good song. And you'll generally kind of be coming up with a melody when we're writing together, and I'll be like, let me look through this. I'm like, hey, what about this for a line in that? That's kind of where we generally start out. I tend to write a lot with other people because I have trouble staying focused on when I'm doing it myself. So I kind of try and tailor it to whoever I'm writing with, but generally I like to start out with a line first and kind of work from there.
Well, and for most of the stuff on this album that we've written, we really did start more with like a title, or at least a thematic idea at the beginning, and kind of worked off that. It was nice. It was different for me. It actually helped me in that process kind of be a little bit more organized than just the... Because, I mean, there's some nights when you're doing the hum and strum thing where it's just 6 hours of... Okay, I'm just going to play A minor and F for 6 hours and see if something comes. Sometimes it doesn't.
And then the more you write down here, you write with other people, the more your style evolves and hopefully gets better. Who was it? Merle Haggard, I think, said he wrote 300 songs before he wrote a good one.
That's probably true. That's probably, but I'm sure he's got some good songs. It is Merle Haggard.
Right.
I got to spend a little bit of time out at the Johnny Cash Museum out in Bon Aqua. And I got to pick Johnny's nephew's ear, Mark Allen, quite a bit. And he's had a bit of a career of his own, and he was always very down on himself about songwriting. He talked about a conversation he had with Johnny. And he goes, "You just don't know my bad songs." He goes, "You know that upstairs room in the corner there?" He goes, "You know that big wooden trunk that I don't let anyone go near? That's full of songs that no one will ever hear."
Yeah.
And when I write it and it's done, I go to that box, I put it in, and then I shut it and lock it, and that's where they stay.
Right. He's got Uncle Johnny by him. That's a great song. You ever play that one?
Oh yeah,
that's a great one.
What is it?
Uncle Johnny, it's called. I don't know if he wrote that all alone or if he co-wrote that with somebody.
No, that was Tommy Cash's son.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just died.
Just passed away, though.
he did.
Great, yeah, Tommy did.
Oh, Tom, I thought.
I
thought he meant Mark. I was like, I hadn't heard that.
No, as far as I know, he's doing well.
No, that's good. Let's play us another one.
Which one do you want to
I
play?
do Mackie the Mouth.
Yeah.
That one's always fun. This one's, I don't know if this one kind of fits with a female album, but this song started out, we were looking for something to write, and we're kind of, I think we've been listening to a little Roger Miller, and we're kind of talking about some other songs. We decided we wanted to write something with a name, and it's kind of a funny song, so it's kind of funny, but kind of sad too. Like.
It's about a drug dealer.
This is a mostly fake story about a mostly real person, I guess. A guy you knew back in high school. It's
Hey,
called
Mac.
Called Mac the Mouth. Mac had a big mouth, got him in trouble. Say he started cussing on the day he was born. All the folks around him all saying, "Here it comes." Kept his lips running like a locomotive horn. Threw him away in a wooden box. No one for to carry him home. A shallow grave where the raven mocks. Back of the mountain, gone, gone, gone. Dogs never stayed, they just didn't like him. He was born in Napa, he'd been rotten to the cold. His mom run away and his daddy often left him. People say they couldn't take his talking anymore. Threw him away in a wooden box. No one for to carry him home. A shallow grave where the raven mocks. Mackie the mountain gone. Then one day there came a wandering stranger. Mackie didn't know, but his time was running low. He talked so much that he couldn't hear the danger. His lips were fast as lightning, but his drawl was rather slow. Threw him away in a wooden box. No one for to carry him home. A shallow grave where the raven mocks. Mackie the mountain gone.
Definitely a little Roger Miller on that.
It's definitely Roger Miller, especially the ending.
Yeah, that we flat out stole from.
What?
We changed the fake words, right?
So what's that about?
And it's,
There's a guy that was a dealer of illicit substances back when I was growing up, and he had a pharmacist license
Okay.
at like 12 years old, and so he found out pretty much anything that was legal that could change your headspace and ordered it through the mail in the early days of the internet. Unfortunately, he wound up, I believe, in Alaska, and from anything that I heard, was killed in a drug deal gone bad.
Wow. Okay.
so it's a fun little.
Well, the way
Happy
you,
little story.
well, yeah, it's a great story.
It's funny though. The first time his mom heard us play that song, she knew exactly what it was about right away.
Now, what was the guy's name?
Mackie.
Mackie the Mouth.
Mackie the Mole.
Mouth. Big mouth. Big mouth.
The mouth.
Mackie.
Big Mouth. Mackie the Mouth.
And the story in that is kind of that, like, he runs his mouth too much,
Yeah.
gets his business out in the street, and it comes back to bite it. That's not actually what happened, as far as
As
I
far
know.
as you know, anyway.
But
Could
it
happen.
could have been.
He took liberty.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
Artistic
allowed.
license.
You're allowed to do that. You're a songwriter.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. So, what do you think is a song that you wrote you absolutely didn't like, but people loved it?
Generally, if I play it for people, I must have liked it because the ones I don't like, nobody ever hears. It's
Yeah.
like playing a truck in the freaking attic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think most of the ones that I really don't like I've ever really let anyone.
There's like anybody. There's like
Did I say it
Ray
right?
Wiley Hubbard said when you write a song, make sure you can sing it every night for the next 30 years.
Well, yeah, but I've written songs that I'm like, I really don't care for this song anymore, but people like it. You know, that's what happened with It's Always Something.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I felt like I had to write it just because it wouldn't get out of my head. And then I got like, okay, good, it's done. And then I played it for Adrian, and she's like, I like that. And I played it for somebody else, I like that. And then we ended up recording it. But, you know, for me, that was a song that I really didn't care for when it was all said and done.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, people liked it.
Now, do you not like the song, or do you not like it for you as an artist?
Well, now I like it.
Okay.
I like it when, you know, the band plays it. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of cliche. It's always something, you know. But everybody says it. And I thought I'd cash in on that.
Right.
You know. Which
It has
I'm
the
almost
most
able.
streams.
Huh?
It has the most streams of any of
It
them.
has
That's
the
a
most
good.
streams.
I like that song.
And
yeah.
I'm almost able to afford the other part of the bun for the hamburger.
Oh, You're doing good.
30 more cents, you might get a slice of cheese.
You might get a pickle.
Another 100,000 streams, you can add cheese and pickles.
Yeah, cheese and pickles. So true. So true.
So true.
No, but, you know, for example, if you have a song in your head and you can't get it out, you know, it just, you know, it's, well, let's do this one. What's the longest it's taken you to write a song?
30 years?
Yeah, for me, it's probably a year. Because here's the thing. I've definitely changed my writing style since I've been down here, and I try to finish everything. I used to get to a point where if I got about halfway through and I didn't like it, it was just gone, and I'd never look at it again. But somebody told me something down here that really helped me continually write more frequently, which is just go ahead and write the bad song. And just know that, okay, I'm not going to share this with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Today, this was an exercise for me, and this is the pickle and cheese sandwich song.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, and the chorus can be pickles and cheese, and I can absolutely hate it. But it clears out the pathway for the next song, so you don't have all those bad ideas junking up the highway, you know?
Yeah. Now, do you listen to other music to get inspired? I know I know you like Tyler Childers,
Yeah, I love
and I started listening to him. You know, but I get stuck in the same routine with the songs, ideas that I write. I want to write a rock and roll song. That's what I want to do. I've tried to write the slower songs and stuff like that, and they usually end up coming out like something that I've already written,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate that.
That's another reason I like co-writing with other people. It keeps you from getting
Right.
stuck in your lane.
Right. You know, when you're an only child and you're the only person that you write with,
Right.
you know,
Your ideas win.
all the time.
Every time.
All the time. Now, I've written with Rollin, and we've written a couple good songs. You know, we've tried to write a song together. And,
And there's some days when I
Yeah.
try as I might, there's just nothing that comes.
right. Yeah.
We've had nights like that where we'd sit there and
Well, we got two really good song starts, but nothing really went anywhere.
But then, you know, the next time we get together, we'll probably end up like last. No, it wasn't last time we were together. But last time we did some writing, we ended up finishing two of them. So.
Yep.
It's amazing how songs, you know, they come together. I always say it's a spiritual thing, you know, because you pull something from out of nowhere,
Oh yeah.
and it becomes a living, breathing thing. You know?
Thing that can touch people in a very real way. You know.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things for me that's changed in my writing process since I've been down here is doing more of the co-writes. I'm way quicker to just write the song instead of write me into the song. Like there are songs that I write that's mine. Those are my words, that's me saying it. But getting into the whole idea of co-writing, sometimes you're doing a cold write with somebody you've never met before, and it's, okay, we're going to chit-chat for a half an hour and get coffee or whatever before we start. And in those circumstances, instead of, well, I'm going to try to blend this much of me into the song and we'll take this much of you, I just try to be of service at that point and go, okay, we're going to write Bobby a song today. What what's your thought process? What's your kind of song? You know, if I'm writing with 19-year-old female who just got to town, it's like, okay, we're gonna write a Taylor Swift, or that's the vein, and I'm not gonna try to put my artistic molding on it. I'm just gonna write that song for what it is, and no expectation that I will ever play that for anybody. You know what I mean?
I have a couple of those.
And it might be perfect, you know what I mean? It might be perfect for some little blonde 19-year-old girl, but it's not going to sound right if I write it for her voice and then I get up there and do it. There's no way that I can actually sell that, you know?
We've recorded one of them together for LA there when I wrote with her. That when we started, it was just from the start. It's like, well, from the title, this is going to be a song for you. It's not something I'm never going to play, but that don't mean it wasn't fun to write and very fun to record.
I liked it too. The first glimpse of that was when I started writing with my now ex-wife, and so like I'd get to like write "You're a Jerk" songs about myself from her perspective, kind of preempt it, be like, I know this is what you think of me anyway.
How'd that work for you in the long run? Yeah. Wow. So, if you were to measure your success so far, are you happy with where you're at as far as a songwriter, as far as performing? Like, have you hit your goal that you set out to?
I busted my ceiling years and years ago. I went way farther at this point in my life than I ever thought I would.
Yeah.
With music. Don't get me wrong. In high school, I had the big dreams and stuff, but that life took its other turns from there, and I pretty much thought I was done with music at one point. So yeah, I couldn't be happier. If I die tomorrow, I'll go out happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel very successful. My litmus was definitely like, I want to be Jimi Hendrix when I was a kid, but my real goal was always to just be able to play music and make a living at doing it. And I've been full-time now for about 5 years, and still have a roof over my head at this point, so.
Even after the storms last week.
Yeah, that was a little questionable.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was watching the news one night, seeing when the storms are coming, and I'm looking at it like, Kelly, that's right over the top of Brennan. So I was texting like, hey, you okay, buddy? He's like, it hasn't blown me away yet.
I think we're all right.
Do you have a basement?
No. I live next door to my mother's house, and she lives in like one of those berm houses. It's cinder block and set back into the hill.
Yeah.
So when it gets really bad, I'm like, oh. But most of the time, I'm usually sitting on my porch watching the storm come at me, and it's usually too late by the time it gets there.
That you can feel lift up when the wind
Like,
starts blowing.
Trailer's starting to shake. I probably should have left 5 minutes ago.
Well, we were in the process of, Adrian and I were sitting on the couch. It was bad outside. We didn't know what was going on. And I said, you want to watch a movie? She said, yeah. I said, what do you want to watch? She said, Twister. I'm like, you're a nut job. We watched Twister.
Well, come on. What are the odds that you're actually going to get hit by the tornado if that's what you're watching,
Yeah, if we were something that I wanted to watch.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz. That's great. Yeah. So yeah, I think, and I've said this before. I'm very happy with where I'm at as far as. I mean, I'd love to play the Opry or the Ryman. To stand in the circle and play. But just being able to.
I've had the luxury, or the privilege of standing where legends. Loretta Lynn's the big stage there. The Hodag up in Wisconsin. Anytime you get on a stage like that, you just look at it and you're like, man, like standing in the circle at the Opry. So I've got to do more than I ever thought I would.
I felt that way the first time when I was out in LA. I got to play the Viper Room quite a bit.
Oh, yeah?
And I just remember the first time stepping on that stage going, this is where Johnny Cash had his comeback.
Yeah.
Because that was really where Rick kind of brought him back out of the dregs of things right there at the Viper Room. So
that's where River Phoenix died, too.
Yep.
And that was the bar that Johnny Depp owned.
Yep.
You played the Viper Room.
Yep, quite a bit. It was really kind of sad when I was out in LA. The whole Sunset Strip was kind of in the process of eating itself. They started doing pay to play out there during the week, and it just basically ran all the talent off the street. You'd go to see bands there Monday through Friday. It was awesome, and then they started doing pay to play, and it was just horrible, badly out of tune punk bands that had a parent with enough money to buy the place for the night so that they could have their basically band practice in front of people on stage. You do that too many months in a row, people are just like, we're not going to go check that out on a Wednesday night.
Sure. So let's do this. Brad, why don't you play one yourself that you want to do?
Shitty Cigars and Red Wine.
Yeah.
Love that song.
This one actually, I just did on a podcast a couple weeks back. So there's a real nice YouTube video of it out there. If you go check it out, you can go check out the whole podcast actually.
Whose podcast was it?
I should hook you up with us. A guy, new friend of a friend lived up in Wisconsin, lives over in Manchester now. He's got a real nice studio over there, and he's starting his podcast. I'll fill you in. They don't need. Nobody wants to hear about all that. But anyway, yeah, go check it out. It's Brad Janssen Music on YouTube. You can find it, or on Facebook. This one's called Cigars and Red Wine.
I was going to say, I thought you did that
Yeah,
one.
I do that big one.
It's like the last time you did it higher.
That would have seemed weird singing it. Cigars and red wine is all that you live. It's a broken down table, this house of regret. Walls of prison seem quite as cold. There's the ghosts of pictures left stained on the wall. The smell of perfume still lingers like smoke from this cigar. An empty glass bottle resembles a man I've become. With cigars and red wine, this guitar was strong. I knew that this living lead me here, alone on this front porch next to your empty chair. Me and my sorrow, rock life away. Last along with the sunset, I watch your memory fade. The smell of perfume still lingers like smoke from this cigar. Glass bottle resembles a man I've become. Left with cigars and red wine, this guitar is strung big a little bit. Like smoke from this cigar. The empty glass bottle resembles man I've become. Left with cigars and red wine, white man, his guitar strong.
That's awesome.
I wrote that one with my good buddy Alex Pierce, who's actually in the studio recording that one, so I'll let everybody know when there's a full band version of it out there.
That's my favorite Brad Janssen song.
I love that one.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
That's a good one, and so is that other one that you wrote. I can't think of his name. Ramblin'. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one I wrote with Marcus Brown. I love that song.
Now I'm going to let you do one of yours. Now I want you to realize that's a nice flat screen TV here, okay? So when you hit those high notes, you're going to be buying my television if you crack it. I'm just telling you that right now.
Well, I'm going to do something. This is actually a co-write that's going to be on the co-write album, but it's one that I was messing around with at home, and I kind of did the wrong thing one day, and I was like, ooh, Brad, are you okay if I do the other version of this song when I release it on my record? And I got to play it for you tonight. I actually got all the tracking done.
Yeah.
That's what I did over in between all the storms here this last weekend. This is one that we wrote called By All Means. Pulled down off a highway, found some little cheap motel. Was a dive bar in the lobby, so I thought I might as well saddle up, grab a drink, clear the dust till the road was long forgotten. Well, from the shadow in the corner, I could see her ivory skin. As her eyes met, she was laughing, and she gave me this doe-eyed grin. So I walked up, grabbed her hand, pulled her close. Then she said, don't you remember? Yes, I remember nights of passion, each night and all my dreams. But my life is on the highway. No, it's never like it seems. So by all means. Now she came back to my motel room, fell into my woe embrace. And all the years came flooding back, and all them scars I can't erase. But the flame burned us both, 'cause we tried to light both ends of the candle. Now she's hoping I ain't leaving, but she knows I'll soon be gone. Like a tumbleweed I'm rolling, never in one place too long. Just because I can't stay, that don't mean you can't help me to remember. 'Cause I remember nights of passion, each night and all my dreams. But my life is on the highway. No, it's never like it seems. So by all means. Well, she'll roll over in the morning, and she'll find out that I'm gone. But she prays someday I'll come back, and that someday I'll stay home. So she prays that one day I might say to your heart, I I now surrender. Yes, I remember nights of passion, each night and all my dreams. But my life is on the highway. No, it's never like it seems. No, it's never what it seems. So by all means. A little bit different than the way we read it. It's like a Johnny Cash song.
Yeah.
So I totally like screwed it up one night, and I'm like, oh, we can do both versions of that. I mean, the original is like
Yep.
very, Johnny Cash.
It's down off the highway.
Love it. Love it.
What version do you like better?
It depends
Depends
on
on
the
the
day.
night.
Yeah, it depends on if I'm more in a Johnny Cash or a Chris Stapleton mood, I guess.
That's really good.
Yeah, that was a good song.
Good song. Well, what do you think?
I try not to. It hurts my head.
Did you did you enjoy yourself?
Very much so. Thanks for having us, Bob.
Had a great meal.
And thank you for a delicious supper.
Yeah,
Adrian.
absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much.
My mom's probably watching, so say hi to my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Come here, cat. Let me show you Grandma.
Our new friend
Come here.
here.
Come here.
Our friend that likes to
Settle
bite us.
down.
All right, she's settling down.
Just give it a minute.
I'm
Chewing
gonna
on us got her all warm up.
Exactly.
Grandma, yeah. So
There's a cat over there if you're wondering. It's not Adrian. We're talking about you.
So if you're in Nashville, if you're listening and you want to hear some really good music, Brennan plays down on Broadway just about every day, don't you?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep.
Okay.
Rippy's Maine. Stop in across the street from Bridgestone. Say hello.
And Brad?
You can find me. Just look me up on Facebook. I always post where I'm at. I'll be up in Wisconsin a couple times this summer. If you're up in the Rhode Island area, we'll be up there.
Yep, we're gonna be all over.
We'll be all over. We'll be all over.
Maybe one of these days we'll actually get like a website or something together too.
Right?
That's a really good
If we're not coming your way, let us know where you want us to play, and
We'll be
let us know.
there.
We'll be there. Have car, will travel.
Have a car, we'll travel. Well, Brad and Brennan, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Thank
coming
you.
out to us live in the living room. We'll do this again probably about, 10 years.
Something like that.
Good Lord willing, the creek don't.
Well, I tell you what, we'll do this again if we find out that it didn't record.
We'll do it real quick,
If the
right?
sound was off.
Guys, just so you know, I had it on mute. the
I'm
whole
still
time.
trying to work out the sound. I had a lapel mic, and that thing didn't work very well.
You get so much background noise dealing with all that. Anybody ruffles their shirt or
Yeah.
anything like that.
And then I
breaks too hard on it.
had 3 microphones set up, but I didn't feel like setting them up. And so
What you need, you've got high enough ceilings in here. You need to just get yourself an overhead boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do one, and then have that get everything, and then it's not in your way. You don't have to worry about it.
so I have to buy another microphone.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh no, you can make that.
No, I mean you need one of those omnidirectional microphones, right?
Yeah, that would probably be your most ideal one, be an Omni or.
And if you're watching right now, we do take donations. Call that number at the bottom of your screen.
Send your omnidirectional microphones. We're gonna have to take it around.
Omnidirectional microphone, care of Bobby Ray Music. All right. Well, we want to thank our studio audience for being here.
Thank you for listening.
That's Danielle. She's here. She left her monsters at home, but she did take care of the other monster.
The mini
here.
monster.
So, well, we'll see y'all next time. Who's our next guest?
Jake Wyatt and Brian Glover on May 7th.
Oh, you put them both together.
Yeah, May 7th.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Well, check us out May 7th. I am playing. Let's see. Tomorrow night. No, not tomorrow night.
Friday night at Half Batch Brewery.
Friday night at Half Batch Brewery. Yeah. See, that's why I need her.
You gotta have somebody with the brains to keep you on track of things. I know how
Really?
that goes. I've been missing mine.
I had to call C4 this morning and ask her if she would replace me on a Friday night show because I completely forgot I'd made plans with my wife. And like
Who? Where?
C4, I was supposed to be playing over at that Corky's and met with her like, please, can you replace me for the night? Otherwise,
Have you
I'm gonna
played
be in
Corky's?
deep trouble. I haven't. I was
It's
gonna
a
be
neat
the
place.
first night.
Steve and I played there the other night.
Last Friday.
Yeah, I was looking forward to playing there, but I would have been in serious trouble if I would have.
Yeah.
So she was gracious enough to find a replacement for me.
Well, that's good.
So thank you, Steve, for hearing this.
But she's not. So, all right. So you guys have a great night, and we will see you down the road. Bye.